Grant Patterson, Chief Executive of Massmart, is with us in studio. He's always got a quip, hasn't he? Who's Massmart? Are they here? Do they still exist?
Well, you know, Whitey's the senior statesman of the retail industry. So, you know, I think he's earned the right to comment on the industry. And, you know, I like Whitey a lot.
Gee, but you're working hard because you've gone a bit grey. I don't know who the senior statesman in age is now. What's the difference in your age, Grant?
I'm 42.
Okay, he's probably 20 years on you.
He's probably
so we'll give him the
years.
senior statesman.
Yeah, he's the senior statesman. We respect that.
But he does also say that you've been quiet. He hasn't seen much of you in the marketplace. Has that been intentional?
Well, I think in part he's right and in part he's wrong. I think the bit that he's right on is it takes some work to complete a transaction. You know, it's not over when we come and sit here and say it's been announced. We've been hard at work integrating with Walmart, learning to work with them, learning to the language, extracting value from them, patching our business up. We did a lot. We built DCs, we've got into food retail, we've done a lot of new stuff. And you know, at the moment now, we're feeling settled though. So, you know, if we've been quiet, I think you're going to start hearing more from us.
I don't know if you'll recall, but just after you did the transaction, we spoke, and you said at that time that we were a long way behind in South Africa where Walmart was. Was that just a knee jerk, or have you found out that there's a lot to do?
Yes. In fact, earlier today at the presentation, what I said was, if you want to know the greatest thing that's changed pre-transaction, post-transaction, is I would have said to you, Alec, we're a world-class retailer. I now know that we're not. I've sat around with Asda, I've sat around with Walmart Canada, Walmart USA, and these guys do things we haven't even thought of yet. And so I would now describe us as reasonably unadvanced, reasonably backward retailer relative to the advanced countries, and we've got a lot to learn.
How much?
I would say if we did it by ourselves, 15 years, 20 years behind them. You know, maybe we can do it now with Walmart's help in 5 to 10 years, but we've got a lot of work to do.
And the set of results that you put on the table today for the 6 months to the end of June, is there progress? Because when one looks at it, headline earnings per share down 10%, operating profit down as well. It would seem to an outsider that there might be a little bit too much internal focus rather than getting into the market.
I think it would be fair to say, look, first of all, we're reasonably disappointed. I would say it's more than 50% economic, but you know, we must take it on the chin that perhaps we've dropped some balls, particularly in game, although I think we fixed those. But I would say there's very little Walmart in these results. You know, we really have been aligning and sorting things out. I think if you look forward into our strategy, you'll see that the stuff we're going to do now, clothing, e-commerce, a greater shift into food retail, and in particular into Africa, into West Africa and East Africa, these are the things that I think in 5 years' time we reflect back on that everything's changed.
Clothing, who are you going to be taking on there?
Well, we're going to be selling clothing in I would inverted commas, hypermarket format. So as a category within an all under one roof store. Now, Walmart does that, and you know, is one of the biggest clothing retailers in the world. Our ambitions are a bit smaller here in South Africa. We just want to be in the category because our stores compete by being all under one roof shops.
As far as e-commerce is concerned, I suppose those who are waving the flag, Pick n Pay to a degree, Woolworths as well, you haven't really been in that area.
Well, in fact, we are catching up fast, and maybe we've overtaken some. It's another great privilege I've got is I get to talk to the leaders of Walmart.com, you know, the second biggest e-commerce business in the world.
And there are learnings from them.
There's huge learnings. And you know, so there's some technical challenges. It's hard to do. So we know, you know, the steps we've got to take, and we're on there. I think Dion Wired now is the best online and leading online electronics retailer in South Africa, and our turnover is up 220% there. And I think we're getting really good. We're about to relaunch it in a couple of months. But what I've learned is that you must, as a bricks and mortar retailer, you've got to worry as much about the effect e-commerce has on consumers as it has directly on your business. So I'm less worried about the quantum of sales. We'll participate in that. I'm more worried about what does it do to the way people buy. Dion Wired staff tell me when I speak to them, no one comes into the store who hasn't already been online and seen what's available, seen what prices are, and asking them questions.
It's a bit like the motor industry, where 80% of the purchase decision is made at home.
Correct.
And then you come into the store maybe just to close the transaction.
Yeah, and the scary thing is that's going to happen to electronics and TVs, but one day it's going to happen to tomatoes. Now, we're not there yet, but one day you're going to buy your tomatoes because you've learned something about tomatoes, you bought them last month, and all you're going to do is go to your computer and say, I had four packets of four last month. I think I've got some left. I think I'm going to have 2. and you're going to press a button.
You mentioned, talking about tomatoes, the fresh side of your business. How's that been progressing? Because it is, again, part of the strategy looking ahead.
I wouldn't say we're as good as everyone else. 3 years ago we had nothing. We've had to learn how to buy meat, about fruit and vegetables, about deli, about cheeses, about milk. For refrigeration, we've learned a lot. We've been helped here. Asda's very good at this, and so they've sent out their experts and helped us. And I would say we're in the market now. That's how good we are. We're not leaders. We haven't changed anything. We haven't changed the market, but that's coming. We're learning fast.
As far as the rest of the strategy, the 3-year planning process, who did that, Grant? Was it your South African team, or did you bring experts in from Walmart, from Asda?
So the way it works is I'm part of a region which includes Asda and Walmart Canada. You may ask why Walmart Canada, but and those are very, very good leaders and very good companies. So I participate in a local process, then I work with them, and I learn a lot from them. Really, I'm getting perspectives that very few people ever get to be part of that type of organization. And then I go off to Walmart and I participate in their process. So it's a 3-level process, finally approved by the Massmart board. And I'm being influenced by what's happening in Mexico and China and India and Asda and the UK and America. There's a lot of inputs.
And one of the big parts of this is moving into other parts of Africa, the continent. Now, our colleagues in Kenya want to know what is going on there. 3 of the retailers are apparently going to be bought out by you. That's what the rumors are.
Wow, we've been busy then. Look, most of the stuff that you've read out of the Kenyan media is accurate. And consistent with what we've always said. We're interested in the market. We are interested in going there either in green fields, or if we can partner with someone, we'll partner with someone. And we certainly had discussions as reported. We are very interested in that market in food retail. We're going to take Game and Builders Warehouse there anyway. We don't need a partner. We are talking about partnerships in food retail.
And looking ahead, generally, your prospects, the picture you paint is not a very happy one.
No, exactly. I think economically, what I have certainly concluded is that I can't see something to save us. Sometimes you sit in a cycle and you go, I'm going to ignore the cycle. It's going to turn up the other side and I'll be fine. Here I'm a bit worried. I look for, as Clem Sunter would say, flags. What would say something's going to turn around, and I can't see any. So I think what we're doing is we're saying, okay, I think we're in for a period of low growth. Let's plan around that. Let's shift some of our efforts into non-South African countries. We've been in the past reasonably risk-averse and cautious about that. I think we've now shifted gear and said, no, it's time to apply more of our resource in that direction. So I'm excited about the business. I'm excited about extending outside of South Africa. I'm not excited about the economy, and I think consumers are going to be under pressure for some time. Just
to help us through there, 90 new stores in the next 3 years, but only 10 to 15 outside of South Africa.
It may be more, it may be less. What I don't want to get caught is making big promises outside of South Africa and then under-delivering. Property is hard, but we are working hard to change that. Walmart is funding us now to buy our properties. Previously, we had to find someone else to fund them. So that's one problem that's gone away. And I'm hoping that'll translate into that, but it's too early for me to start putting numbers down and committing.
Thanks, Grant. It's an interesting story, and it is one that we'll be continuing to follow. Of course, the Massmart story or Walmart story into Africa. That was Massmart Chief Executive Grant Patterson.